Hello and welcome to this lesson, Problem Solving Geometry Problems. The learning target for this video is setting up and solving word problems based on geometry. So the process, this kind of falls into that category of number riddles and whatnot, is to really use placeholders as much as you can. Placeholders are great for organizing everything and setting up the equation. So use placeholders to set up your equation. After you've set up the equation, it's just about solving it. So then solve the equation. And something else that might help you with setting up the equation is knowing some geometry trivia. And so let me show you what some of that geometry trivia is. All right, so there's some terms, some words that you're going to hear that when you read them or you hear them, you see them, you have to know what it means. So complementary is going to be in the context of angles, and what that means is that we're going to take two angles, or maybe more, but usually just two angles, and set them equal to 90. So you see the word complementary, you have to associate that with 90 degrees. And the degrees isn't that big of a deal for the equation, but yeah, just knowing that you're setting a couple things to be added up to 90 degrees. And then we take a look at something like supplementary. Now we're talking about, or same thing, we're dealing with angles here. And what we're going to do is take two angles and we're going to add them up to 180 degrees. So again, you see the word supplementary. This is sort of the general template you have. We're using these placeholders to set up some angles, and then we're going to try to figure out what they are. Now, let me just kind of draw this out in more detail. Complementary, so we're looking at a right angle, and we're going to have something like this. There are two complementary angles. We'll call this one A, we'll call that one B. A plus B has to equal 90 degrees. For supplementary angles, oops, not quite what I wanted to do there. Let me do it like this, boom, and then we'll take our angle. We have A and B. We add them up. It has to equal 180 degrees. The next piece of trivia I have for you is perimeter. Now, perimeter isn't that complicated, but we're going to usually see this in one or two contexts. So you might have a triangle. And if it's a triangle, you're just going to add up all the sides. So it's just S1 plus S2 plus S3. So you're going to add up those sides for perimeter. That's, equals the perimeter of a triangle. The more complicated one is the perimeter of a rectangle. And if we draw up a rectangle, it's the same concept. We're just adding up all the sides, and we call them length and width. The catch is with a rectangle, you have two of them. So you could have two equations set up here. You could have 2 in parentheses, length plus width, or you could have 2L plus 2W. So again, you just have to know the trivia. When you're told that the perimeter is this, set up the equation, use the placeholders, and then solve for your unknown. All right, a couple more pieces of trivia and then we're done. All right, so we have triangle angle sum and isosceles triangle properties. So a triangle angle sum, no matter what the triangle looks like, all three of these angles, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, they have to add up to be, so angle 1, angle 2, plus angle 3, they have to equal to be 180 degrees. And finally, we have isosceles triangle properties. So isosceles, this is a fancy word for a triangle that has two congruent sides. So an isosceles triangle can look like that, where these side lengths are going to be the same, and then that third side length is going to be different. These angles are going to be the same, so A, and that angle is going to be different. Now, it could look like this, or it could also look like that. Again, these angles are the same, that angle is different. These side lengths are the same, this side length is different. So when you, like if you come across a word problem with an isosceles triangle, draw one out. Put some pieces in there. And then just keep in mind that triangle angle sum, all three of these need to add up to be 180 degrees still. So enough yakking. Let's actually do some math and kind of look at some problems now. Okay, so one of two complementary angles is 6 less than twice the other. All this is, find both angles. This is a number riddle that's in the context of geometry. I see the word complementary, so I'm going one angle plus another angle equals 90. And then one angle is 6 less than twice the other. Now, if I want to, I can draw this up. And so I was told that we have 6 less than twice the other, so that comes off as 2x minus 6. And the other one we don't know anything about, so I'm just going to call it x. So I have x, I have 2x minus 6. I've now set up the equation, and I just have to solve it. So I have 1 and 2x's for 3x minus 6 is equal to 90. Add 6 to both sides. 3x equals 96. Divide by 3. X would end up equaling 32 degrees. Now, make sure you answer the prompt, which is find both angles. So I have 32 degrees. I'll take that away from 90, and so that's going to be what? 58. So 32 degrees, so 32 degrees and 58 degrees. So just make sure you answered the actual prompt. Now, just to show you really quickly, if this said supplementary, what I would do, same process, it'd be x plus 2x minus 6 is equal to 180. So at that point, it becomes a reading problem more than a math problem. Okay, let's continue to the next example. This is a good one. Find the angle measures of an isosceles triangle if the two congruent angles are each 16 less than 5 times the other. Whew, that's a good one. So I'm going to draw this out. An isosceles triangle looks something like that. Make it a little neater. Okay, cool. And we're talking about the angles. And so I'm told that the two congruent angles, which are right here, are each 16 less than 5 times the other. So we don't know what that angle is. That's x. But each of these is going to be 5x minus 16. 5x minus 16. And now I got to think, well, what can I do with this? Well, wait, it's a triangle. I have angles. If I add up these three angles, they have to equal 180 degrees. So x, 5x minus 16, 5x minus 16. I've now set up the equation. And now it's just about solving. So combine like terms. Let's see here, I have, 10x plus one more x is 11x. And then 16 and 16 become 32 of the negative variety. Set that equal to 180. And then let's see here, I'll add 32 to both sides. And so 11x is going to be equal to 212. Divide by 11. And I didn't set this up properly because I end up getting 19.27 repeating, which is fine. All right, that's okay. It's not the cleanest answer, but I've now, I find the, yeah, all right. So I found out that that's what x is. So this is 19.27 degrees. And then if I want to find out what the other one is, I just times it by 5 and then take away 16. So times by 5, subtract 16. And then each of these is going to be roughly 80.36 repeating. All right, finally, 16 less than 5 times. Yeah, all right. Finally, let's take a look at This one, a perimeter problem. All right, so the perimeter of a rectangle is 100. Find the length and width if the width is 8 more than twice the length. So drawing up a picture is huge, I think, for a lot of these. And so let's just say this is length, this is width. And what's nice is we're given if the width is 8 more than twice the length. That means that width equals 2L plus 8. So I have that already from the problem. Now I have to think of the perimeter formula. Perimeter is equal to 2, and sometimes I think it's just easier to write it like this, length plus width. What I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute this in for W. So I have 100, that's what I was told my perimeter is equal to 2 times L plus, now 2L plus 8. See, I swapped out the W for 2L plus 8. Let me do that in a different color here so it makes sense why I did what I did. Now I combine some like terms. 100 is equal to 3W, oh sorry, oops, jumped the gun there. 2 times 3L plus 8. Now I'm not distributing because I'm just going to divide both sides by 2. I think that's going to make life a lot easier. 50 is equal to 3L plus 8. When I subtract 8 from both sides, I'll end up getting 3L is equal to 42. Divide both sides by 3, and L is equal to 14. Now I need to find the length and the width, so if the length is 14, I go 2 times 14, and I add 8 to it. And so that's going to give me 28 plus 8, which is 36. And there we go. We found the length, we found the width. And so that's how we do some of these geometry problems. Again, a lot of it boils down to a couple of things. I'm going to actually add another step here. Knowing your geometry trivia, and also, draw a picture. If we have a picture of it, it makes it a lot easier. And so draw a picture and just make sure you understand what some of these things are. Complementary, supplementary, perimeter, triangle angle theorem, or the triangle angle sum, and then properties of an isosceles triangle. If you know that, you can set up the equation and you can solve it. Good luck with your homework or practice, and let me know if you have any questions.